We are now live. Hello, and welcome to the Wood and Ball Show. I am your host, Dave Ball, also known as Blinson on Reddit and at Blinson1 on Twitter. And with me, as always, is my faithful co-host, Blake, known as B-Town Bomb on Reddit and Shatton My Kirk on Twitter. And today we have a special guest, Amber, who is known as Carrie Carrie on Reddit and 00Hex on Twitter. Happy I remember that. And we have a good show for you guys tonight. Say hi.
Well,
Hi everyone.
You should have used a 00Hex.
00Hex.
It's true. I'm
Mhm.
James Bond.
Shut up.
Mhm.
Now you guys tell me. You could have told me this pre-podcast talks.
No, it's fine.
Come on. Help me get on my shit. Anyway, we have about 4 topics for you guys today. We have our first topics. We're going to talk about basically happenings outside of the NHL, which is going to include the IAHF World Championships and then the AHL stuff. And that's mostly going to be talked to you by Amber, because Amber is awesome. And then we have NHL Quick Hits, which is basically seeing hirings and firings out there in the NHL, followed by yesterday's game and then tonight's game. So I guess without further ado, we'll just hit right into the first topic, which is the IAHF and what happened there, Amber.
All right. So IHF World's quarterfinals were today. The U.S. got knocked out by Czechoslovakia because the U.S. continued to keep putting Tim Thomas in the net, despite that proving to be a very bad thing for them during
Czech Republic,
prelims.
you mean?
Yes. Sorry, I'm old. The Czech Republic. Anyways, Yager set up the assist on the game-winning goal for the Czech Republic, and it was actually a pretty entertaining game. I only got to watch highlights because it was early in the morning. Russia knocked out France 3-0. Yeah, that happened. I'm sad. Finland edged out Canada 3-2. So no more North America in the world. And Sweden edged out Belarus 3-2. That was a pretty good game. Actually got to watch the Finland and Sweden games live.
Okay. How much do you think the USA and Canada get knocked out is because they don't have their best players like in the lineups?
You know, I think that could be argued for a lot of the teams. Finland's got some names. I mean, obviously they've got Pekka Rinne in the net, and they've got Jori Lehtera from the KHL, and that's, you know, working for them. But other teams don't necessarily have a whole bunch of star power either, and there's a whole bunch of injuries going on. So, you know, if you're going to talk about, you know, being the world power with, you know, especially Canada and ice hockey, you kind of have to be able to actually put your money where your mouth is, even when your star power is not available for you.
Yeah, but most of their star power is on that team. Like they're lining up a bunch of third and fourth liners basically now. I think that was on their lineup.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there was talk around the Olympics that that Canada could probably easily field, you know, 2-3 Olympic quality teams.
Yeah,
So,
we saw the second lineup to come out afterwards.
yeah, so they should be able to do that in Worlds when some of the best Canadian players, arguably, are still in the Stanley Cup Finals or have just been edged out of the Stanley Cup Finals. RIP Penguins.
Well, I think most of the reason that they don't have the star power is also because everyone's just tired after the year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
And that's true for everybody, though, because
North America, no one really cares about the Worlds over here, I guess. As long as the players are concerned, I guess. People do care about it. Just as the players are concerned, they don't really see it as on the same scale as the Olympics are. So,
yeah,
I mean, Paul Giroux himself said no, he doesn't want to go.
Yeah, I can understand that. But, I mean, if you're going to talk about being, like I said, that world power, you've got to be able to prove it when it comes to your A team not
being there, yeah.
Being there or being able to be there. And, I mean, the U.S. has, you know, a similar issue. They've got 2 probably Olympic caliber teams that, can, you know, theoretically, it's just a matter of them showing up on the ice together.
Do you think they really have a second Olympic team in the U.S.? Because it seems like their first Olympic team isn't as strong as it should be.
I think they could. I think it'd be much slimmer pickings than obviously Canada has. But, I mean, they could probably field a decent B team. it'd pull a lot heavier from some of their juniors and NCAA
Yeah,
players, though.
that's true. That's definitely something they would need to do, pull heavily on the juniors and all that.
And besides, those guys need to learn how to perform on the international stage at some point. Might as well start
They
now.
are the future of the Olympic hockey if it continues to allow NHL players to be part of it.
Yep. And I mean, you talk about that, and like France has Christabel Huet in goal. They have Antoine Roussel, who I'm personally fond of, and who
wonder
did
why.
great for the team.
Why are you so fond of him?
Because he's on my team.
Obviously.
But one of the better known players outside of those two is Ben Doede. I'm probably gonna butcher his last name. Yeah, it's Dude Falvel, and he's a defenseman, and he plays in the Central Hockey League for Quad City.
How old is he?
In his early mid-20s. He's like 22, 23-ish.
Okay.
Not really sure off the top of my head.
Okay. I couldn't even look him up because I have no clue what his name is to help you out. But yeah.
So I mean, it is what it is. I mean, Worlds is a different beast than the Olympics. Is a different beast than actually being in, the NHL or the KHL, whatever.
Yeah. So what do you think, Blake? You've been quiet.
Well, I mean, because the NHL and the KHL, they would 100% acknowledge Olympic events. They'll pause their seasons for Olympic events, but since the Worlds is played when they are played during the playoffs, I know KHL playoffs have ended long before Worlds started, but the NHL still their playoffs still going on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Worlds is a different beast there. There was a scary moment, I guess you could call it, today in the U.S. and Czech Republic game when Justin Abdelkader.
Yeah.
And I believe he was the captain of the Team USA too.
I believe so. He is, yeah.
He laid out a nasty hit on Vladimir Sobotka. Abdelkader got a game misconduct, and it's looking like Sobotka may have a concussion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there is talk of Abdelkader actually getting more, like some sort of suspension. I don't know if it would be international only, or if it would actually carry over into the NHL a little bit.
I'm not sure if it would carry over. I think it just might be banned from the Worlds, which would be a huge blow for the American team, basically.
Yeah.
It's not been that great for the Blues in the IIHF tournament. Roman Polak, I forget what nationality he is suddenly. I believe he is also Czech, I think.
I'll look it up.
He received an injury. I also forget what injury it was. I think it was something to do with his shoulder, perhaps. But he should be good. Most definitely, he should be good for the start of next season.
Yeah, and Polak is a Czech. You're right.
But
my team's had no problems with injuries, thankfully.
And the same with Sobotka, I think too. He'll have a lot of time to rest before the season starts. But man, you see guys on the Blues like Steen or Backus or Sobotka. They get a lot of head injuries. They have had quite a few in their careers already.
I just want to point out how angry Polak looks in his Wikipedia picture. It's actually kind of funny.
He actually looks angry most of the time.
I was going to say, he doesn't look much friendlier in his IHF, I promise.
So,
Wait, what kind of picture is that? That's a blue against a blue.
He's like the sternest man on the planet.
Like a just warm-up match or something? In this picture, because the person in the white has a Blues logo on his helmet. Reeves, and then he is on the Blues himself.
well, I mean, perhaps they are
I kind of want to know what the history of this picture is now. I'm never going to find out because I actually don't care that much. But I kind of want to know.
Yeah.
I'm tweeting it out to the listeners we have so you can see it.
Yes. I suppose we'll shift to some AHL quick hits. Their playoffs are also underway, and Amber will tell you more about those.
Going?
Oh, goodness. So last night, the Providence Bruins fell to Wilkes-Barre Penguins. So for the Eastern Conference Finals...
It's Wilkes-Barre, first off. Wilkes-Barre.
Sorry. Every time I say it, I get corrected. Baby Penguins. And they will be facing St. John's Ice Caps for the Eastern Conference Finals. That series starts Saturday night at 7:30.
Who are the St. John's Ice Caps? Who are they affiliate of, if they are?
Winnipeg.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, Winnipeg actually has good people on their team.
Yeah, they have good prospects.
Yeah, they
St.
have
John's
incredibly good prospects, yeah.
And then what happened to their NHL team?
They get traded or something before they ever make it to Winnipeg.
No, they have to deal with Pavlik, so they run away, I guess.
And then for the Western Conference Finals, that will be the Toronto Marlies and the Texas Stars. Yay. And that series starts Friday at 7:30.
Who do you want to win it all, Amber?
The Texas Stars, is that even a question?
Really? I wonder why. In the series that's not them, who do you want to win? Who do you want them to face, then?
You know, I would really actually like them to face St. John's, although it'd probably be more difficult.
Mm-hmm. Why do you want to face St. John's? What's so special about
Because
them?
I like St. John's, that's why.
That's not because they give you the best chance, you just like them?
Yeah, I don't think facing them would give us the best chance.
Okay.
And the Marlies are going to be a really tough opponent.
Mm-hmm.
We did okay during the season against the Marlies, but they are very tough opponents. We did not sweep them by any means during the regular season.
Okay.
Actually, I mean, I'm happy with all four of these teams that are in the finals. I kind of wanted Providence to win, but since they didn't have Malcolm Subban in the net last night, and they had an epic meltdown on the ice, just like other teams I can think of, that is no longer a possibility.
Okay. So I guess we'll move on from that topic to a topic me and Blake can talk more about.
Yes! Awesome!
Forcing Amber to talk the entire time. It's the NHL Quick Hits. And today, the Islanders made a big surprise by signing Halak, who they traded for recently. They signed him to a 4-year deal worth $18 million.
To clarify, though, I don't think it's a surprise that they signed him.
Yeah.
I think it's maybe a little bit of a surprise for what they signed him for. Or, how long they signed him for.
Yeah.
I
mean, Halak's a really good goalie. He will help out this team a lot.
His issue is with consistency, though, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you dealt with him for the past couple of years, so you would know.
He was good.
Consistency is an issue for a lot of goalies.
Well, but I guess simply there are just some that can handle it well, more than others can, I guess.
Yeah, I asked this question earlier, and we got a reply from Cozy, and he said they needed a guy like him. They've developed a decent forward core, and now they have reliable goaltending in a sense. Now they just need to invest in defensemen.
While you two talk about this, I'm going to look for something I retweeted earlier today from the Sharks SB Nation Fear the Finn. Oh, here it is, right here actually.
Okay,
Halak is a career .918 goalie save percentage. If the Isles had a .918 save percentage last season, they would have finished with a plus 23 goal differential.
Wow.
Pretty impressive stats.
They probably
Fancy
would have been
stats.
in the playoffs, and then the Rangers probably would not have been.
Yeah.
Well, next year we can just have Battle of New York doing something somewhere.
Yeah, I hope the New York
Maybe.
Rangers fall off a cliff.
So terrible.
I hate them. What can I say?
How can you hate Mark Stahl or King Henrik?
Or
Because
St.
I am a
Louis.
Flyers fan.
No. I can totally understand why, well, especially Tampa fans, do not love
Well,
San Luis anymore.
Eh, I just don't like them. I don't like them. I don't like them. I don't like their team. I don't like anybody on their team. Do I have to be nice to him? I'm not going to reach down and pick up the glove for the guy.
Fine.
neither was. I forget who it was. Someone on Pittsburgh. Crosby, I think. Crosby
Yes,
wouldn't
that
gonna
is what I
pick
was
up
quoting.
Voracek's glove.
That is what I was quoting. Thank you, Blake.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then the next thing that happened today was the Islanders have said they're going to give up the 2015 first-round draft pick to the Sabres. Why do you think they went with 2015 instead of 2014?
Well, for one thing, I don't know, actually. But that's going to be interesting how that works.
Yeah, because I think most people are saying they gave it up because it's a top 5 overall this year. So they're more likely to get a good player, even though next year is the deeper draft. Well, but it is what it is, I guess.
Next year is the deeper draft. Yes, it'll be. I guess you could call it the Connor McDavid sweepstakes, but
that the Edmonton Oilers are most likely going to win. Even though they have not won the past 2 years, they still will most likely win. Because that
The
is
Sabres
the
end up at the bottom again, and somehow someone else gets the first round.
Well, the
First
thing
pick
is,
overall.
what people don't realize is you only have a 25% chance of getting the first overall if you're last place. It means you have a 75% chance of losing it. So you have a greater chance to not get the first overall than you have to get the first overall. So it's difficult. Even if you're 30th place, you're definitely not guaranteed it. You're more likely to not get it.
Yeah.
Hence the reason why the Oilers won it 4 years in a row.
And there's actually one other NHL quick hit, I believe, that we are all that. Excuse me, that I did not notice in the run sheet that that I forget to put in the run sheet that I think would be important to go over.
Okay.
Well, it looks like the Ryan Miller era in St. Louis has ended.
Told you, Blake.
As the Blues have signed Brian Elliott to a 2-year deal, I believe it was.
When did that get announced?
Yesterday?
2 days ago?
Where have I
Something
been?
like that. At that training thing for work.
That is very much true. I have not really been paying attention to the internet.
Mm-hmm. And since Elliott was signed for that, that made it all but certain that Miller will be going somewhere else.
Mm.
It's going to be interesting.
But you know what this also means? Now we have cap space to get what we really need, an additional center.
Hey, you can have Vinny. We'll take one Petrangelo or one Shattenkirk.
I was thinking perhaps signing Spezza or Stastny.
But remember, if he signs Stastny, what are you going to have to do, Blake?
I wouldn't really mind that much.
You wouldn't really mind eating a hat live on the podcast?
If considering what this bet, I guess, is for, I mean, I wouldn't really mind. I'd be fairly excited that we have such a dynamic player in Paul Stastny on our team. I think with Spezza, on the other hand, I think you're taking more of a risk because it's just not all that certain how he will do next year, regardless of if he stays in Ottawa or if he goes somewhere else.
Yeah, I guess.
He has more of that uncertainty factor than Stastny does at this point in time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess he does.
Now comes the interesting question.
What?
Where would Ryan Miller go? Because we all know that he doesn't have any retiring plans.
He wants to go to California, but it seems, I know today there was a post in our hockey that said the Ducks nor the Sharks are interested in him.
And of course, you know that the LA Kings,
They
they're
have
also
no need for a goalie.
yeah.
Well, I mean, the Ducks don't really need a goalie either.
But
Anderson is solid when
I
he's
mean,
not
but
injured, and Gibson is coming right along. And
Gibson
well,
is
but
still
the thing
too
is
young.
with them though, they are both very young. Perhaps
Too young.
get someone else to kind of up their. Uh, uh,
Give them
I just had a
brain.
my
Damn
mind
it.
just went blank. So
Damn it,
pardon
Blake.
me.
I would
But
never
they could
wish
get-
Tim Thomas on Anderson or Gibson. Otherwise, I'd say we've got to gently use Tim Thomas. We can sell them for a bag of pucks.
See, if they get Miller, they can use Miller to, help train Gibson and
Yeah.
Anderson.
Yeah.
That could be such a thing. He would be probably an
Mhm.
amazing goaltender for them to learn from. And if it's John Gibson learning from him, USA Hockey would be extremely happy. Because, John Gibson's an American, so is Ryan Miller. You have the one American passing the torch to the other future American goaltender.
Mhm.
So can't USA Hockey would love that.
Well, I believe then that will do it for the NHL quick hits here.
Yeah, so unless you have something else to add, Amber.
Nothing I can think of.
Okay, and we haven't gotten any questions in, so we'll just hop on to the next topic, which is yesterday's game, which was between the Los Angeles Kings and Chicago Blackhawks, with LA winning 6-2, tying the series at 1 apiece. And so, first off, Jonathan Quick is a Jedi, and he should never be allowed to play in the NHL again.
It was really impressive.
3 times now that I remember, he somehow stopped the puck from going in the net, even though he was nowhere near it.
And I think that's what turned the tide for the Kings there, especially in that third period. They got
They scored 6 goals in 20 minutes.
6 unanswered goals in
20 minutes, yes.
in 20 minutes. And Jeff Carter also getting a hat trick in that game.
Yeah. It's amazing it's amazing that he's actually showing up for playoffs nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess here's a question we can pose to the other two hosts here, as well as the listeners, Dave.
I am very ready.
Just simply, where does Chicago go from here? How do they hope to stem this or stop this bit of momentum the Kings have going in their tracks? They'll be in LA now, and they'll be the momentum is on their side more than likely at the moment. So, what will Chicago have to do to stop that momentum? And once that's tweeted out, we'll defer that question over to Dave.
To stop the... How about Amber goes first?
All right,
I
yeah.
forgot how to word this.
Do you want me to talk while you're tweeting?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I'm trying to word this.
Well, I mean, obviously the big thing is they need to score. If they could score first and get that momentum going and get Crawford locked down in net, well, I'm pretty sure it's still going to be Crawford in net.
Why would they take him out? They wouldn't put a rookie in.
No, and Crawford has really
No.
upped his game for the postseason.
If I understand from talking to, Ari, she's saying Crawford is doing great this postseason.
Oh, yeah,
Mhm,
he's doing
mhm.
fantastic. I
He's a
mean,
team member that's showing up. it seems.
yesterday was really bad, but it wasn't because of him, really. He might have let in a
He was
couple of
left out
stop
to dry.
goals, but the Blackhawks completely forgot how to play hockey last night. I've never seen the Blackhawks play so bad in recent memory, ever. And, well, not without them having, half the team out on injuries.
Mhm.
But they had all of their star power out on the ice and just completely doing terrible, terrible things in the name of hockey. But if they could score first, if they can limit LA's chances on Crawford, if their defense would, wake up and show up and their forwards would take some defensive responsibility, and they could at least win one of the games in LA, I think they'll be fine.
Mhm.
If they drop both of the games in LA, then I'm not sure what they're gonna do other than like roll over and die.
I guess, yeah.
And now I could probably say with a large amount of certainty that I don't really think Joel Quenneville. I don't think he's going to let that happen again. Certainly.
True, but I mean, there's only so much he can do once the guys are actually on the ice.
Well, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He has to coach them through a tough time. It's what coaches have to do.
But
Yeah.
that's what's going to be their top priority now, finishing games. Um, in most of their losses this postseason, the biggest issue for the Blackhawks was finishing games. In both of their losses to the Blues in the first round, and at least one loss against Minnesota, I think, they had control over most of those games, and they just couldn't get the job done. They just couldn't finish it out.
Hmm. Well, we already have one answer to the. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I think Quenneville's gonna stress that his team's just gonna have to finish games at this point. They got 40 minutes locked down. They know how to play for the first 40. They just gotta keep that up for the last 20.
Yeah, that's definitely what you have to do, especially in the playoffs. And my phone is ringing. It's too far away. But yeah, I think Quenneville's a good enough coach to be able to rally this team to come back. I mean, it's a tied series. It's not like they're down 2-0 in the series.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's tied. There's still a lot of hockey left to be played, especially between these two teams that I'm guessing are now starting to form a slight rivalry because they keep meeting in the playoffs. So it seems we have an answer already coming in. It's from Ron, who is on the After Hours show. He said, sign Jamie Lannister to the team and play him on the top line. Because he's a known beheader.
You know, I just don't think it would work like that, though. Unfortunately,
I think
they
it'd be
could
too
sign
much of a
Jamie
duster.
Lannister, but they couldn't put him in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true. They can't. He cannot be signed. So I'm sorry, Ron. That is not a viable option.
He can be signed. He just can't be used in the playoffs. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Sorry, Ron.
I believe now we're going to shift into tonight's game.
Which is between the Rangers and the Habs. The New York Rangers are currently up 2-0 in the series. What do you think is going on here, guys? The Habs did so well in the past 2 rounds.
Carey Price is injured.
Yeah,
End of story.
to put it bluntly, the Habs are really missing Carey Price, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I am missing Carey Price.
Do you think it's also because they had such an emotional high coming out of the Boston series that they just are tired?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's also a huge factor. It's not just the goalie, of course, even though I think that's a big reason why they are struggling right now.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of their team, they're not up to par with their brilliant play in the first 2 rounds. I guess that Boston series, if the Habs were to lose this series, I think you could say that eventually Boston would have gotten their job done. Their job was to tire out Montreal. They didn't get to do it in the second round, but who knows? Maybe that tiring and exhausting and grueling second round could catch up with them here.
Mm-hmm. I guess, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, the big thing is really Carey Price being out. That is, like, Budaj and Tokarski are just not up to his level yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I don't know who they're going to start tonight. I think it's probably Tokarski again. But
Sorry, I'm tweeting out another question right now. So.
it's like Carey Price puts that team on his back and carries them through games that are otherwise kind of shaky sometimes.
Yeah, I see people posting that he was the sole reason kind of that the Habs are where they are now. That all the the inconsistencies that the Canadians have had were masked by how good Carey Price is.
I'm not going to say that he's the sole reason, but, I mean, a good goalie can carry otherwise shaky or downright sometimes terrible play through things that a good or average goalie cannot do.
Mm.
I mean, Kari Lehtinen did that for the Stars for a good chunk of the season.
I think
Literally the only reason we won some of our games. Some nights it felt like.
Perfect example too, and I have cited this example for a couple different reasons in previous podcasts too. During Philadelphia's 2010 run, they faced Buffalo. I keep forgetting, Dave. Was that the second round?
2011, and it was first round for Buffalo.
Oh, 2011 first round. Okay, and Buffalo just simply had no business being there. You could say it was kind of like the team didn't want to be there, and I guess essentially the sole reason it went to 7 games was because of Ryan Miller. Yeah.
That and the Philadelphia goalie carousel was another reason. I think that was more so the reason our revolving door of goaltenders that year. I mean, you start the game 1 and game 2 with Bobrovsky. Game 2, you pull him for Brian Boucher, who then starts game 3, who then is then pulled for Michael Leighton. And then you start Michael Leighton the next game, who is then pulled for Brian Boucher, who finishes out the series.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the big reasons that series went what it did.
One of the other things, too, is the Habs are going to have to solve Henrik Lundqvist. He allowed 1 goal on 41 shots for the game 2, and they have to figure out how to get past King Henrik in the net.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be a big problem. If the King is able to, get past this round, I'm pretty sure the Rangers are going to win it all, because there is no way someone's going to beat the Stanley Cup Finals Henrik, who we have never seen in the Stanley Cup Finals before. He will turn it up and be the goaltender we all know he will be. I do not care who is facing him in the West. You heard it here. I am predicting if they make it, they will go all the way, and I will be very sad.
Does it hurt you to say that?
And
it does, because I hate that banner so much.
And I think at the end of it, at the end of the Rangers playoff run this year, I think you could safely look back at this playoff run and come to the conclusion that that Mother's Day game, round 2 against Pittsburgh, when they rallied around St. Louis, very emotional game for him. I think you could probably say that was their turning point.
Mm-hmm.
It was in that game, Doc Emmerich on the call for NBC. He cited a story of the Pittsburgh Pirates sometime in the 70s, I believe, and this was before a playoff run too. I think it was their manager. His mother passed away, and they went on a very deep playoff run.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like most of the time when you have these emotional moments for players and they still decide to play the next game. I think what the Rangers are doing, they've decided that it's just not going to be just a one and done thing. We're not just going to get motivated for one game and make that game a very good win and then just whatever. We're going to rally around Marty for this whole series, and we're going to take this momentum and see how far we can go with it.
So something actually just got tweeted out from our HockeyCast sub. Apparently, James Neal has asked for a trade.
There's a rumor asking for a trade, but he's also reached out to one of the, I want to say, radio personalities in the area and said, no, that's not true. I mean, it's interesting news. to see if Neil is going to be moved out.
I don't know which team would want him in his baggage. Please
Um,
don't come here. Please.
Oh,
don't
I'm
come
sure
here.
there's
Please don't
someone
come
out
here.
there.
Please don't.
Remember,
Well, I
there
mean-
was somebody that wanted
Hextall, please no.
Matt
Please no.
Cook's
Please no.
baggage.
okay, the Minnesota Wild need a buddy for Matt Cook, right?
Send him to Abe. Abe can deal with it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think James Neal has a lot of promise as a player, and if he could clean up his dirty play and just be like, I guess kind of like the enforcer, but skate on the good side of that line and not on the actually causing injuries and being dirty side of the line, he could be a asset to a team. He's got to clean up his play though.
My biggest thing with him is he cannot create a play. He just finishes a play.
Well, I mean,
That
you
is-
got to have people that can finish those plays though.
Yes, but you also want a player who you can send out on the ice and be like Steven Stamkos, where he creates a scoring chance and then buries it.
Yeah.
You'd rather have that than a one-dimensional James Neal. Because James Neal, I don't feel like, with the type of player he is and all the baggage, he's not worth $5 million a year until 2017, 2018.
But if he could clean up his game and
Maybe.
actually like do good things, he could totally be an asset on a third or fourth line to some team.
hmm I just don't think he's going to clean up, because if he hasn't gotten the clue now, after how many years of all this coming back and forth with him, I
No,
think
he's
I don't think he's gonna get it.
26. He's young.
Is he 26?
He's like 26. Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna clean it up, personally.
It'd be nice if he would though.
Yeah, it would, but he's not going to.
It'd be nice if Matt Cook cleaned up too, but
No, he shouldn't, because that's hilarious when it comes to Abe. But he should clean it up because it hurts people. I was joking, everybody.
yeah, like seriously injuring people is like no way to play hockey.
Yeah.
Like I know accidents happen, but there's a difference between accidents and actually trying to concuss or otherwise injure people, and one of them is fine and the other one has no place in hockey.
hmm
Mhm.
Yeah. So. Wow, we're only at we're not even at an hour yet, so we gotta keep, unless we want to end it here. I don't
We haven't
think-
talked about tonight's. Well, we did talk about tonight's game a little bit.
A little bit.
So.
There's nothing coming through Twitter right now.
No, people are quiet today.
Yeah. It's a Thursday during a rainstorm, so no one really is.
Oh yeah, it is Thursday.
I wish it was Thursday. I asked people what was for lunch. I thought you would know that by heart.
I missed that.
What? How could you miss it, Amber?
My
I'm very
Twitter was it on Twitter because my Twitter feed goes so fast sometimes that I miss.
Reddit under the general discussion Thursday.
Oh, that's because I haven't read that thread yet.
Oh. Well,
Sorry.
We got a bunch of new friends from there now.
Oh dear.
We're always getting new people. Yes.
Yeah, there's so many. I don't know what to do with it. I can't keep track of them all. So.
Yeah, it was. Let's see, who did Neil talk to? Mark Madden, and he says James Neal reached out to him and said he did not ask to be traded. So.
Okay. So.
Yeah, it is what it is.
hmm
Oh, we can talk about how adorable the team Twitter interactions are, but that's not gonna.
It's not gonna fill 20 minutes.
No.
I guess we'll hit
It
it. a little bit.
could, but.
So,
let's
who's
not.
talked to who so far? Let's just go with it. Who's talked to who so far?
Well, there's been some really interesting interaction last night between the Kings and the Blackhawks Twitter.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys follow My Little Blackhawk, but Allie Lawrence has a Tumblr where she draws ponies that are actually NHL players in the style of the new My Little Pony art, which is really rad, and they're cute, and players have seen that. Some players have seen them. There are shirts, there are stickers. It's awesome. Anyway, she did some art for the Blackhawks and the Kings sharing a pizza, and the LA Kings Twitter actually tweeted it after the game, and it was very cute.
The LA Kings have one of the best Twitters in the NHL.
They really do. Theirs and
Columbus is also really
Columbus is really good.
You know
Dallas is pretty sassy. Canadians are kind of sassy sometimes too, but I
The
mean,
Flyers
they're-
try to be sassy, but everyone just kind of ignores it, or they get sassier back with them, and the Flyers just eat.
I'll tell you who's really underrated in the sassy NHL Twitter accounts world, the Dallas Stars.
Are they really that good?
Oh, yeah.
we're pretty sassy sometimes.
Mhm.
Yeah, we
You
are
guys-
like we're like the snarky kind of sass though, not the like super friendly kind of sass.
Yeah, very snarky.
Did you guys see what
Um,
the LA Kings just tweeted to their Maple Leafs? Hey, Maple Leafs Nation, are you really going to let Hab get on the cover? Vote NHL, vote for them. And the Leafs tweeted back, "Well played," and then the hashtag.
I am all about NHL 15 Subban. Thanks.
Are you?
Yes.
I am,
Since
of course,
since Eric Carlson is out, I am all in on Subban.
all in on American hero TJ Oshie.
I
So-
just like that there was only like 6 people to pick from, so I refused.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
This is a really weird contest, though. I'm not gonna lie.
I think it's
I
because
would-
they started it so late this year. Because
They
the past
did,
couple of years, they had it when I was back when, well, that was back when I was in college. I remember, doing the voting when I was in between classes, and by this time I would have already been out of classes basically. So
Yeah, I don't care because they're not gonna have NHL 15 on the PC, so I'm not gonna get to play it.
I am not gonna play it because I've bought in the last like 4. So I'm gonna take a break for a little bit until they have like a major change. Cause I don't understand why they're trying to make the player like the uniform and all that more realistic, like they did this year, when there's so many other things you could fix, like goalie mechanics, for instance, and how how AI interacts when you are a goalie. Because I know I tweeted to a couple of you guys and saw that the goal that was scored on me that went through my pad when I was a goalie.
Yeah, I remember that.
Such bullshit.
You had worse luck than Fleury there.
It literally went through my pad. It was just like I had a shutout. There was like 5 minutes left in the game. It was like I made my first actual I did this myself shutout.
I will say in other NHL news, there's the whole half the Penguins having surgery going on.
Mata is out for like what 6 to 8 weeks now.
4 to 6 months
Oh wow.
after his shoulder surgery.
Wow.
Yeah,
Ali Mata.
Mm-hmm.
and let's see. I think Bo Bennett had surgery,
Let's
and
go to the Penguins. Oh, I gotta go.
someone else. There's been like 3. Yeah, Ollie, Bo Bennett, and one of their prospects, Derek Poulot.
Okay.
All had surgery. Mata and Poulot had it on their shoulders, and Bo Bennett had surgery on his wrist, and it's crazy. The summer of Penguin surgery.
It's amazing to see what the people are trying to get, what the Penguins are trying to get on their team. There's one here. It's Camilleri and Gaborik with Crosby, a winning combination. You can't afford them.
I
You
mean, as
cannot
nice
afford
as
them.
as nice as it would be to see like Sidney Crosby or Malkin or those top forwards that everyone talks about all the time in my team's
Oh,
colors.
actually, they might be able to afford them. Wow.
I don't know. Now there's a rumor that Vanek's going to be going to Dallas or St. Louis next year. So
Eight like free
tis the
agents
season
all
of
forward.
wild, rampant rumor wildfire.
Oh, they're gonna have $15 million in cap space next year.
Isn't Vanek a winger though? I forget.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
No, I think we're good on wingers. We just need a
Matt
center.
Molson. We
It-
need Matt Molson.
Yeah, he's a left wing.
I have been
That's
told
where we
that
want him.
Molson is basically a cheap man's Vanek. So
He, when paired with a good center, like you would with Claude Giroux, and having a really great right wing with Jacob Voracek, I think he would do pretty good in Philadelphia.
Vanek?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, Molson.
Okay.
well, but you have Hartnell, Drew, Voracek. That sounds like a good
I
line
love
to
the
me.
flying ginger line, but Hartnell isn't fast enough to deal with them.
Ah,
When you put him on a line with Braden Shen and Wayne Simmons, their line does great together. Because they're all the same speed. And they all kind of play the same type game. And plus, come on, that's just a fun line to want to deal with. How many people will be checked in the boards with that line? And how rough that line would be.
mm-hmm.
And then, our biggest problem on our team is actually Vinny. He was signed to be our second center, but Braden Shen is our second center of the future. So we're going to have to deal with Vinny being on the fourth line, most likely.
Well, I was gonna say, I would offer you more gingers for the ginger lines, but you can't have our gingers.
Who are your gingers?
Cody Eakin,
Hmm.
and he was our second line center this year.
We don't need a center, so you're good.
Yeah,
We have too many centers.
I would ideally like to see Dallas pick up a second line center, and so that we could have Cody Eakin, Roussel, and Garbett on a completely solid third line.
I would like to say that Dallas
You can't have our
100%. I would like to say that Dallas 100% won the Cody Eakin trade
Yeah, thanks, Capitals.
because they traded Ribeiro for him. So
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
It's
Ribeiro
Mike
doesn't-
Ribeiro. B, he's with Phoenix now. So
I was gonna say,
not doing good with Phoenix whatsoever either.
well, we've had a couple of Phoenix fans ask us to take him back. We've told them no.
shouldn't they be asking Washington to take him back though?
Yeah.
Washington has enough problems without Mike.
Well,
Yeah, no GM, no coach. Well, first off, who do you guys think is going to be their GM?
I have no idea.
no, I don't even know. I don't even know who all is on the GM market.
Ray Shero. Pierre Maguire. What's his name
I
from
don't
Vancouver?
think that Pierre
Gillis.
would give up his sweet gig between the benches to
Oh,
be
you'd-
the Caps
you'd be-
GM.
You'd be the Caps GM. No, for the
I wouldn't do
Penguins
it.
GM, I would say for
No.
the Penguins GM, you would be surprised.
Well,
I can see maybe Gillis from Vancouver would.
Mm-hmm.
Who else
then they could get Torts as their coach, and he could Torts and Ovechkin. Somebody would die.
You mean Trotz?
No, Torts.
No,
Oh,
Torts.
Torts.
Tortorella.
Okay, Torts.
Tortorella.
Yeah.
Tortorella.
Okay.
Where was Trotz thinking about going? Where is everyone putting him? Was it Washington?
I think so.
No, they were gonna put him on. They're gonna put him in Florida just to annoy Roberto Luongo.
No, that's Tortorella.
Oh, that's what I thought we were talking. Oh yeah, right. That's what we're talking.
Yeah.
About.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about They
Talking
need to
about
stop
the
having
vote.
such common names.
I know, right?
Why are they so close to each other? Why did Trotz have to leave Nashville?
Okay, so the top 5 rumors for Barry Trotz: Carolina Hurricanes,
Okay.
New York Islanders.
Did they fire their coach?
I
I
don't
don't think they fired Cabrera.
think so, but
Caparo, whatever his
they
name
might overhaul in the off season. That's the rumor for that. There was the Maple Leafs, but
is.
that's
Had to
and
deal
the
with it.
Caps.
They had to deal with it for now.
And there's actually a rumor that Trotz might go to the Canucks.
Yeah, Jack Capano is still their coach of the Islanders.
Mm-hmm.
Trotz going to the Canucks. It could work. I don't know how he would do with. They're more of a forward.
Well, yeah,
They're forward heavy, aren't they? In Vancouver.
yeah, and they're
Mhm.
more of a, I guess maybe a tad bit more of a playmaking type deal because they have the Sedins there.
Yeah. I don't know how well they would do. He would do because he's not used to having forwards.
Yeah.
I mean, he could help them in the defensive end. But outside of that, I don't see him being good there. So.
I think Carolina might be the better bet, but
Mhm.
I don't think it would be any better of a fit than Vancouver. Because again, I kind of like to think Carolina is also a bit of the playmaker kind of thing with the Stalls and with Skinner and Seoman and all them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'll be interesting. Like, I mean, there has been some talk of Tortorella to the Panthers, and I'm like, Luongo just got away from him. The Panthers wanted Luongo back. That's not gonna happen.
That'd be hilarious.
I don't see that happening at all.
Hilarious.
No, I don't see that happening at all. Why would the Panthers pay to get Luongo back
Mm-hmm.
and then bring a coach that he is rumored to have a lot of strife with to the team? When there are
Because
other
it would be
coaches.
hilarious, and it's because the Panthers are the Panthers, and you expect idiocy.
It would have been
As
hilarious
horrible
if
that is to
Luongo
say.
and Tim Thomas would have had to play together too, but we see how well that worked out for us.
Yeah, that's your fault. We didn't get to see
Not
the
my
Roberto
fault.
Luongo.
Not
and
my
Tim
fault.
Thomas,
I didn't want Tim Thomas.
They were gonna have a TV show together, Amber. It is all your fault.
I know. I would gladly give him back for Dan Ellis. I am probably the only Dallas Stars fan that you will ever hear say that, but I would totally trade them. Because if we trade back for Dan Ellis, then that means we would have never had to trade Robidas, and Robidas's leg might not be broken right now. Sad.
Yeah. So, anything else we want to cover before we sign off now?
No,
think we're
believe
good.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to do one last tweet out about the Tim Thomas Roberto Luongo TV show.
I'm trying to see if there are any interesting rumors, but no, it's all old.
Yeah.
I don't see anything
No.
that's come through, so... Okay, so I guess we'll start the broadcast then. This has been our HockeyCast, the Wooden Bulls show, featuring me, Dave Vole. You can find me at Blinson1 on Twitter and user Blinson on Reddit. And you can find Blake on Twitter at ShattonMyKirk or on Reddit as B-Town Bomb. Then there's Amber. You can find her on Twitter at 00hex and on Reddit as Kari. I think I'm saying it right.
Karis.
Kari?
Carys. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Karis? Okay. So, have a good night, everybody.